And good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kariba Devine.
And I'm Troy Hayden.
We are less than 90 days away from November's election, and nearly every poll shows that Arizona could go either way.
Democratic presidential ticket just finished a rally in Glendale, so let's get right out to Mark, live at the Desert Diamond Arena. Vice President Kamala Harris, her brand new running mate, trying to get Arizona voters behind them. Mark, what'd you see?
Troy, it was pretty electric here, I have to tell you. And if they say Battleground Arizona, this was the field where the battleground was and is being launched. The Vice President and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz officially became a team just a few days ago, and now they're on a tour of 7 battleground states. Harris spoke to this crowd of more than 15,000. By the way, this is the biggest crowd they have had yet on their tour across the country. One of the larger rallies since her campaign began. She painted a very clear picture between herself and her opponent, the former president. Here's some of what she had to say.
I was a courtroom prosecutor. So I took on, in these roles, perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, scammers who broke the rules for personal gain. So Arizona, hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
It drew a huge round of applause. Her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, also emphasized what is clearly going to be another major distinction between Harris and Trump, and that is the issue of women's reproductive rights. Walz sharing his own personal story.
When we wanted to have children, we went through years of fertility treatment. And I remember it was like it was yesterday, just waiting for good news. And then the phone would ring and you would be tensed up. And then you would hear that the treatments had failed. It would blot out the sun, that you just wanted something so beautiful and so simple to have a child. And then one day, and it wasn't by chance, when that news came and we welcomed our daughter into the world, we named her Hope. We named her Hope. I'm not crying, you're crying. So when Vice President Harris and I talk about freedom, we're very clear. We mean the freedom to make your own health care decisions.
A woman's right to choose. I heard it over and over again today as I talked to people in this crowd. We want to bring in our political insider, Bram Resnick, along with Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. So good to see you, and thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us.
You bet, Mark.
The issue of women's reproductive rights. I heard former President Trump today saying he doesn't think that that's going to be an important issue in November.
Yeah.
What say you?
That's laughable. I saw that too, and I literally started laughing. This is a state in Arizona, as you know, that just had to beat back an 1864 total abortion ban. And we are still dealing with a 15-week ban that has no exceptions for rape or incest. And so, you know, abortion rights and reproductive rights are absolutely on the line in Arizona and nationally because, make no mistake, Donald Trump, if he gets the chance, will impose or try to impose a national abortion ban on us. I mean, he's already responsible for those abortion bans because he appointed the Supreme Court that decided Dobbs.
Put this in perspective politically. You've lived here all your life. You've been in the political world for a while. So have I. Where did this rank in terms of size and energy, especially for Democrats?
I mean, Bram, this is off the charts. I have never in my entire life seen a political event this big. This absolutely, bar none, has to be the biggest political event ever in the history of Arizona. And then you throw in the enthusiasm that you saw today. Boy, I'm feeling really good about our chances in November. Obviously, as Vice President Harris said, we can't take anything for granted and we have to act like we're the underdogs. But man, there's some serious momentum out there.
And Bram, you rode in the Vice President's motorcade today as part of the press pool. What was that like?
That's right. We started at the Sheraton Hotel in downtown Phoenix and took a ride up to North Phoenix with the Kamala Harris motorcade, starting at the Sheraton. Now, if you've ever dreamed of driving the 51 with no traffic, none at all, the cops keeping other drivers off the road, pretty nice. The first destination was a Democratic district office in North Phoenix where volunteers were making posters for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Before they left, Walz said he had to take one selfie. Take a listen.
I have not asked this yet. I'm going to get myself with this sign.
Nice moment there. Tim Walz said he could handle 40 below, but not Arizona. he said then and today he was melting out here. These are two political talents. I think a lot of people underestimated Kamala Harris before this started. Oh,
she's incredibly talented. She's also incredibly intelligent. And I think people are responding to her. And I also think her vice presidential candidate goes over really well in Arizona. You heard the chants of coach, coach, coach. He's a very relatable guy. So I think they're a perfect match for Arizona.
And one of the things, Bram, and maybe you want to weigh in on this, and Attorney General Mays, you as well, they are trying to definitely paint the picture of the difference of their two campaigns and appeal to the middle class, which they don't feel the Trump campaign is resonating with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right, Mark. And they are appealing, and they're doing a great job of that. I'll bet you there were a lot of independents in this crowd. I know there were. And they're also, they're appealing to folks, the very folks who are going to decide and who always decide elections in Arizona. As you guys know, I won mine by 280 votes. We're going to win by more than 280 votes. Vice President Harris is going to win by more than that in November. But we're going to have to fight hard. It's a closely divided state.
Attorney General Chris Mays, great to see you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Thanks for stopping by. And Bram, I'll tell you, as we wrap up here, it was not lost on me to see Gabby Giffords up there and what must have been going through her mind, because she could have easily been Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris, she could have been a U.S. Senator, but here she is by Mark Kelly's side. He could have been a vice presidential running mate. Wasn't. Tim Walz edged him out. That was a powerful moment. Many powerful moments. I don't want to burst the Democrats' bubble, but I have to say this is a honeymoon period for Kamala Harris. Apparently very successful, firing up the base in ways we've never seen before. Will it last through the convention? Probably. But then there's going to be reality. The policy she talked about today, there's a lot on the border today. Yeah. Something she is going to have to deal with. Voters want to hear about. She talked about inflation, very important. You heard how she's going to attack it. She's going to face more tough questions, I think, once the convention is over.
All right. Bram, thank you so much. With Kamala Harris speaking here today along with her vice presidential candidate, there's no doubt the Republican National Committee was watching this, and we want to get some reactions to what they thought about the speeches today. Let's check in with 12 News journalist Sean Rice, why they believe Donald Trump's policies are better for America.
According to a 2024 poll from Noble Predictive Insights, the economy and the border are far and away the top two issues for Arizona voters. Vice President Kamala Harris says she is working to strengthen the middle class and provide more opportunities to middle-class families, something Republicans say she's been tasked with for the past 4 years and hasn't come through.
We've seen under her policies, under Joe Biden's policies, we've actually seen the exact opposite. Working men and women in this country see prices going up and their real wages going down.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation has outpaced wages, though in recent months, wages have outpaced the rise in inflation. Under a Trump administration, Tommy Pigott, Strategic Communications Director with the Republican National Committee, says he will provide tax breaks to the middle class in hopes of bringing inflation down.
President Trump has a plan to lower taxes on working Americans, make it so there's no taxes on tips, a policy that would rein in inflation, lower energy prices, lower prices at the pump.
At Harris's previous campaign rallies, she's claimed Trump plans to cut Social Security and Medicare. It's a claim Republicans say he's disputed time and time again.
She knows that she's actually not telling the truth. He's going to eliminate taxes on Social Security for seniors. Those are initiatives that directly help seniors and the working men and women of this country.
Republicans claim Kamala Harris has done little to curb border crossings here in Arizona, calling it, quote, wide open. It's something they say was never the case when former President Donald Trump held office. Customs and Border Patrol data shows there were between 300 and 600,000 border apprehensions during Trump's previous presidency. And during President Biden's, those apprehensions averaged between 1.7 and 2.4 million.
President Trump had the most secure border in modern American history. He had remained in Mexico. He is building hundreds of miles of border wall. He had sent a clear message to cartels that they could not operate along the border.
As Arizona becomes the epicenter of politics over the next 3 months, the GOP says a single campaign stop for Kamala Harris is not going to swing the state blue in November.
By building that unprecedented ground game, we're making sure we're reaching every single voter possible, turning out every single Republican vote to the polls possible. And by doing that, we're confident we're going to win Arizona.
Sean Rice, 12 News.
All right, Sean, thanks. That's the Republican Viewpoint. Coming up in just a few minutes as we continue our coverage here, we'll chat with some of the folks that were here supporting the Harris ticket and also some protesters who were outside. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes from here in Glendale.